6. Remuneration motivation factor of the staff. Fulfillment results from the interest, appreciation, and respect given to yourself and others. In order to satisfy the ego of the employees, it is necessary to give them interest, to express your appreciation toward them, and to respect them. To avoid causing stress, it is necessary to avoid stress to the esteem of employees. In order for an employee to be satisfied with his work and to achieve high performance, it is necessary to be motivated both internally and externally, and the above techniques must be taken into account. The success of or failure of an organization is intrinsically linked to the way it is employees. Managers may be tempted to retreat to the apparent safety of their bunker from which to issue orders, but they must be aware that they can no longer use authority and correction as they once did. Therefore, the word that designed the solution applicable in the new context is involvement. Managers must motivate the employees, instilling in them a commitment and desire for action and encouraging their creativity. It must harness the experience, energy, and skills of the various groups of employees and form first-hand teams to solve problems, identify opportunities, and make sense of the huge amount of information currently available. The role of motivation is not only to make people work, but to make them work well, to make them full use of their physical and intellectual resources. Where there is motivation, there is productivity and performance, and people are satisfied. In other words, everyone's win. Motivation is crucial in the success seen not only at the level of the organization, but also at the level of any department, project, or plan, and, indisputably, is one of the most important areas of the responsibility of a manager. One of the most important and, at the same time, sensitive issues that falls under the responsibility of human resources management is the issue of staff salaries. Wage policy differs from one organization to another. One is the situation for organizations that operate on the basis of private property, and another for those based on public property. For the latter, the salary policy is a component of the economic policy of the state, which aims at establishing the salary income in the different sectors of the public activity according to well-established principles and criteria. Specifically, salaries are established by the government in consultation with the trade unions for the staff of budget units and special companies nominated by the government, and by the law for the staff of the legislative, executive, and judicial bodies. Of course, even in this organization, human resources management has a whole series of attributions and competencies regarding the determination of the most appropriate forms of remuneration, the criteria for calculating salaries per individual, establishing appropriate correlation between salaries, compliance with the minimum gross salary, and compliance with all regulation on pay in general and in the fields of particular. The salary policy is taken over and put into practice by the specialized available to the company in the field of human resources management. Determining the salary at individual level within the company requires the existence of rule, intercorrelated elements, which allowed the use of criteria for assessing the employee's contribution to the company's activities and calculating the salary. In the condition of the market economy, each company has full freedom to establish its own salary system in accordance with the legal provision. The elements of the salary system are the basic salary, the bonuses, and the addition to it. Of course, the main element is the basic salary. It is established for each employee in relation to the qualification, importance, complexity of tasks and duties, professional training and competence. Basic salary increases are an additional element of salary supplementation depending on certain special working conditions. Thus, our legislation provides the following categories of bonuses. Bonus for special working condition, like heavy, dangerous, or embarrassing. Increase in seniority, increase for night work, bonuses for overtime or for hours worked on not working days. Insulation increase, increase for the use of the foreign language, etc. The principle of salary system that have been imposed over time and that appear as a rule that must be respected and valued are equal work, equal pay. The principle is rooted in international and domestic rule. Thus, it is provided in the Universal Declaration for Human Rights adopted by the UN General Assembly in 1948 as well as in other international documents. The Romanian Constitution of November 21, 1991 provides in Article 38, paragraph 4, the principle of equal pay for equal work without any discrimination of sex, age, race, political beliefs, ethnic origin, and others. The observance for this principle in the condition which each company has its own salary system consists in the fact that when established the salary, there are no discrimination based on the element mentioned above. The criteria that must be taken into account are the working time work, the level of training and competence, the working condition. Differentiated pay for the amount of work. It is a principle that derives from the salary purchase relation of the labor factors. The employer, the one who buys, relies on a certain amount of work. Negotiating with the seller and the price, salary level, inevitably refers to the amount of work. This is possible to achieve in practice through the role of work performed determined by the time work or by the number of operations or products performed. Salary differentiated according to the level of qualification or studies. It is a principle that emphasizes that skilled labor is translated into superior result. In this case, it is natural for those who perform such work to earn a better salary than others. At the same time, the application of the principle motivates employees to continuously raise the level of training. Salary differentiated in relation to the position performed. It is about the complexity of the work correlated with the level of qualification. It is natural that with the increase of the complexity of the work, materialized by the translation from one position to another, the level of the salary to increase. Salary differentiated according to work condition. Principle which presupposes that those who work in more difficult, harmful, dangerous or embarrassing conditions have to obtain a higher salary than those who work in normal working conditions. These are jobs in the underground, in the nuclear energy, in the steel industry, in certain company in the chemical industry, in the field of air and sea navigation, etc. It is known that working in difficult, dangerous, embarrassing conditions requires a higher consumption of physical or nervous energy. Under this condition, only a proper wage can contribute to the proper restoration of workers' ability to work from one day to the next. They consume more goods both to restore and ensure the proper physical condition and the normal mental state. The application of this principle is reflected in the level of salaries granted to those who perform such work, in the shorter working day, as well as in the other benefits such as the increased number of days off, etc. The salary is confidential. It is a principle adopted by many countries and is based on the right of everyone to privacy. This is about the intimacy of work and the gain made on it. The collective labor engagement provides for the disciplinary sanction until the termination of the employment contract of the person who carries out activities in the human resources department who do not respect the principle. The managers who run this department, the human resources managers, have responsibilities in connection with confidentiality, in fact, in compliance with all the principles mentioned above, but they are also responsible for basing the entire salary system of the company on this principle. At the same time, human resources managers must not forget that this determination of the salary is made in the condition of the market economy, that the mechanism of the labor market, the ratio between supply and demand, cannot be ignored. As a result, it is necessary to integrate labor market principle into companies' policy and managerial practice.